Well, hello everybody. So I've got a really long video for you today. I'm going to work on a tier list of the best games I've ever played. So this will be the top 300 games that I've ever played. So this isn't the best games of all time. This isn't whatever. This is just of the games I've played because I haven't played all of those games. I haven't played all of those games that people say are the best. So we're going off of the ones that I've played and ranking them. So, given the fact that there are 300 games here, I will not be ranking them individually as shown here because that would take forever. So, tier list was the way to go. But I do have a lot of brackets because there's a wide range of games on this list, like huge. So, we're just going to start here at the top left and just keep going. So we start with GoldenEye 007. Now this game is solid. It was good fun growing up. A lot of people might put it up here in this range. Like it's a good game. I would probably put it in solid B tier for the campaign and the multiplayer and everything. I mostly liked the campaign after all the cheats were unlocked. That's how I played it a lot as a kid, but it was fun. Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. It was an alright game. Maybe like in the grand scheme of things, probably C tier, but in my brain remembering it years ago, I'm gonna go B tier. Fallout 4, now that's like D tier. This game really was kind of boring and not fun and just not a good game at all. Just horrible. Call of Duty 2, I'd say similar to Big Red 1. Call of Duty, it's just more of it, but original Call of Duty so much better than the campaigns of later ones. Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, that's gonna go all the way up in S plus tier. This game just absolutely rocks. The best campaign in the series, introduced one of the coolest multiplayers ever. 3 probably had more multiplayer stuff to do, but I think this one has the best campaign by far out of any Splinter Cell game. Perfect. 3 is way too easy. 1 is too hard. 2 is perfect difficulty, perfect story, just great. Halo 2. This is also going up in S plus tier. There's no other way about it. It's just gonna have to. Call of Duty Finest Hour. That's probably gonna go down to D tier as well. It really wasn't that fun. There was too many sections where you just sit in a spot for like, I think this timer on some of these areas are like 11 minutes. Just sit and like run around this church shooting out of windows. And it's ridiculous trying to like protect certain points and stuff like that. And the gunplay just isn't as smooth as other games. Call of Duty Ghosts. So I played like half of the campaign and I played more of the multiplayer, and I thought the customization was pretty good in the multiplayer and different things there. So to be honest, I thought it was like overall pretty good. I'm gonna go like, I don't know, maybe C tier. Metro Last Light. I'm actually currently right at the end of Metro Last Light, and it's all right. Like it's got some really good sections, but also some really not good sections. It kind of goes back and forth. It's not what I wanted out of a survival horror game growing up on more like Resident Evil games and stuff. So it's good, but maybe not great. So I'm going to go B tier. Ghost Recon 2. Honestly, this game was just very odd, very weird shift to third person after the first Ghost Recon games. So I think I'm going to have to go down to D tier for that one as well. Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, great. Like campaign sucks, multiplayer's all right, but Zombies pushes that up to A tier. Same with Black Ops 2. Just classics. Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. I remember enjoying this game a bit as a younger kid, but I played it a little bit somewhat recently and realized just I only played it because that was what I had to play. It really wasn't that great. So that's going down to E tier. Not great. Medal of Honor Rising Sun, D tier. Terrible gunplay. E tier actually. Same with Army Men, Sarge's Heroes too. Medal of Honor Rising Sun, it's pretty good for the time in regards to a lot of other things, but similar things came out that were just so much better, like Halo 1. Rainbow Six 3. That's a pretty darn good game. I think I'm going to have to put it in B tier. Because there's no co-op. You can't go through it with anybody else, so you have to do it by yourself. But the commands and everything like that were pretty sweet for Xbox hardware. Ghost Recon Island Thunder. I'm actually going to put that in B as well. This is my favorite Ghost Recon game, is this one right here. Had the most fun. I don't really know why. The levels just seemed to make more sense and flowed better, and it just played better than the original. Mario Party 6. That's going into S tier. This game was great. It had like the sun and the moon stuff back and forth. Some of the best mini games and some of the best boards ever. Just fantastic game. There's the original Ghost Recon. That's going into... The original one I think is quite a bit worse than Island Thunder. I'll go into C tier though. It's alright. It's just okay. And you might wonder, we haven't gotten into F minus, or sucks butt tier yet, but they're coming. We've got 300 games. And I've got to pick up the pace here. We're already 7 minutes in. All right, Mario Party 8, A tier. Has got some great boards. Not as good mini games as 6, but fantastic game. Everyone knows Mario Party, great. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, D tier. The original Xbox version is the one I played, and I never could get into it. So hard. The first person view wasn't well done for this one. And the gunplay just wasn't there for me. Halo 4, E tier. Could not bring myself to finish it. Absolutely terrible game. Just terrible. Dumps on the whole series. Just horrible. Not much to say there. Just Dance. Just because you can play it a couple times and make fun of it with people, D tier. Other than that, there's no reason to play this. Black Hawk Down, probably also, I'll probably put a C tier. It's on the same level as Ghost Recon, the original one. It's an interesting game. Not super tactical, not super anything, whatever, but it was like a competent shooter of the time. Not too bad. Mass Effect, that's probably going into C tier as well. Pretty good story, like not too bad. Like it was a fun game for the most part throughout the whole thing, but the actual like shooting and boss battles and all of those things were terrible. Really brought it down. Metal Gear Solid 5, B tier. Like I understand a lot of the cool things you can do in it, but it really wasn't my kind of game. That open world kind of game generally isn't something I go for. And the tutorial absolutely kind of made me hate it. Like I really was not into that game, and played a little bit of the open world sections and kept on, I don't know. It didn't flow well. Not great. Commando 1 and 2, those can both go down into like C tier here. They're fine games. These are the mini clip games. Commando 2 was kind of a lot better than Commando 1, but they're kind of in the same range there. Difficult 2D shooters, but pretty fun for the time that I played them years ago. Age of Empires, it's like extremely slow StarCraft. I'll do C tier on that one. I'm not an RTS guy. I don't have the mental capacity for it. And when things aren't going fast, like in StarCraft, I always played with the cheats to speed up the time it takes people to do everything. And so it just made the game go faster, and I didn't have to worry about as many things at a time because everything was going so fast. So you physically couldn't. And I liked that gameplay much better. I didn't know the cheats of Age of Empires. So StarCraft for the win. Slay the Spire. Solid A. It's like the only roguelite game that I think is actually good. It's fantastic. The different relics and cards and combos and characters that you can choose from to go through this are absolutely insane, and the amount of strategy is out of this world. And just fantastic game. Amazing replayability. Taiko no Tatsujin, that's a B tier right there. One of the best rhythm games I've ever played. It's just a drumming game. It's like Japanese drumming game. And I just think it's so fun. It's stupid fun, and it's great. Love it. Scribblenauts Showdown. It's like Scribblenauts, but Mario Party mixed in with it with terrible mini games. D tier. Left 4 Dead. That's an A tier. Left 4 Dead 2. I'd probably put it A tier as well. I don't know if I could go up S tier. They're both great games. Just shooting zombies with friends and fantastic levels. They're too short of games, and they're too similar for me to really put them any higher. And I feel like they could have had some more variety and guns and different things like that. 2 definitely goes with that way with the melee weapons, but you know, it is what it is. Super Smash Bros. This is the original one. You know, like I have better memories of it than I do current day. So I'm going to actually put this B tier. It's really fun. I super enjoy it, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe input lag is worse these days than it used to be or something, or maybe I didn't care about it as much, but it doesn't seem to run as good as I remember. Still super fun game. Deserving a B tier. Advanced Wars 1 and 2, I kind of packaged those together. I'm going to put those also in B tier. Fantastic tactics games. They take so long to play, especially if you're like playing locally. You can pass the controller around and everybody does their turn, which is super smart design. I love that design. But they are extremely time consuming, so they can't go any higher than B tier. But the depth, I'm burping everywhere. The depth of tactics and just everything there is so fun and so well done. Oh, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is next. These are just in a random order. So, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'd go up to A tier. It's a good game. It really is a good game. I think it's Isabelle. Isabelle's my main. She wins every time. The best. Ogre Battle 64. That's an S+ tier game. Just great. I've been saying absolutely fantastic and absolutely horrible a lot. Ogre Battle 64 did a lot of cool things with the way that you structure your teams, having five members, or if you have a big member that counts as 2. You could map it out on a 3x3 grid, and then you would auto battle against other bad guys, and you'd have to take over towns and do all of those different things. Great RPG. The story is pretty, generic as far as RPGs go and everything, but the gameplay was so fun. I honestly enjoyed building the teams and getting all the stuff done and training and all that stuff before the actual levels. I enjoyed that far more than the levels themselves, but it was great. Fantastic. Rainbow Six Lockdown, original Xbox. This one, that's probably a B tier for me. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. It streamlined a lot from Rainbow Six 3 and added the 2-player and some cheat codes and stuff like that I was able to unlock. Heartbeat sensor was kind of a weird inclusion, but it worked, I think. Pretty good game. Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. I'll probably put that in C tier. It's just got the old DOS feel to it. I never got too far into this game. It was just really hard to keep track of quests because you have to keep track of them on paper. There's no quest log or anything like that. There's, it'll name drop some random thing and you'll have to find it in the, one of the biggest open worlds ever. But for the most part, it was pretty good. And there's a climb skill that you can upgrade, which is fantastic. Like a climb skill. That's why I always joked about Skyrim sucking, because it doesn't have a climb skill, which we'll get to that in a little bit. It's on the list somewhere. All right, Mortal Kombat, the original one, E tier. Fighting games most of the time suck. Like I'm not gonna play it by myself. That's super stupid. But actually, I don't know. I'll put it to D tier. I'll put it D tier. That's fine. Multiplayer wise, it's just something to button mash, and so whoever button mashes better wins. So I know there is strategy, but I'm not a fan of it. Diablo 3, C tier. Fun game, really simplistic. I like the twin stick kind of style shooting with the controller. I don't like the clicking around thing that a lot of games like this do. And so I appreciated that with Diablo 3, but I think it's a little too simplistic and a little too much crap loot. So it bogs it down a lot. Deus Ex Human Revolution. I played the original before I played this one, and I gotta say that spoiled me because I didn't really like this one. I find it really hard to get into. It's got some great mechanics. It's a really well done game. I just don't like it. I would recommend it to people, but I cannot get into it. So it's going to D tier for me. Goat Simulator, F tier. It's not a game. It's just something to be stupid. So you laugh at it. It's like a 5-minute funny video that you see on YouTube. You laugh at it, but then it's not something you'd watch again. It's not something you show anybody. It's something you experience. 5 minutes, you're done, and like, okay, yep, it was enjoyable for 5 minutes, and then you continue playing thinking that it's going to be more, and it's absolutely boring and stupid and nothing there. So F tier. Tekken 6. That's going to be in D tier as well. I honestly thought it was more fun than Mortal Kombat. I don't really know why. Maybe the characters are just more fleshed out. It's a much newer game than the original Mortal Kombat. So probably that, but it's still going D tier. Shadow of the Colossus, C tier. I suck at this game, and like, it's a really cool game. I love so much about it, but I am terrible at this game. Just so bad. So there's no... Oh, man, it would take me hours and hours and hours to practice to get good at this game, to actually beat it. And it's just not good enough for me to like warrant that much effort. Because I don't know, as an adult, I can't just play games, for forever. So I've got to play games with much limited amount of time. So Shadow of Colossus gets C tier for me. Plants vs. Zombies, the original one, also C tier. It's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. Wears off pretty quick. Like, I remember playing it back, I don't even know, much after it was popular. But I played it on a smartphone and got really into it for like 2 weeks and then dropped it. Not a game for longevity. Quake 3, B tier. It's a really fun multiplayer game. It is the only one that I've played of the Quake series, and it's the only one. It doesn't have a single player either, so I played against bots mostly, but I had so much fun with this one. Just the speed and the running and gunning and everything, and the levels and the weapons. It melds so well and just functions so well as that arena shooter from the late 90s and early 2000s kind of feel, which is my jam. That's like my kind of game. But it doesn't have all that much to it, so that's why it's going into B tier. Rage. I'll probably do B tier as well. Gunplay and other functions just are really slow and sloggy, and there's too many enemies for how slow and sloggy it is. So it's not super fun, but the actual like meat of the game is pretty darn good, which is why it's gonna go all the way to B tier. Contra, D tier. It's kind of that terrible early design that is too hard just to lengthen the game. If I had known about the Konami code years ago, maybe I would be giving it a higher score. But I mean, you shouldn't be basing a game necessarily off of its cheat codes, even though I did say that about Age of Empires and StarCraft earlier. Um, I yeah, as it stands by itself, don't think it's that well designed and or that fun. Batman the Telltale series, C tier. It's going there because I mean the story's pretty good and there's like quite a few things to do and stuff, but the story doesn't really change. Kind of like in any Telltale game, the story really stays its own path and minor things change. Maybe I don't know. It really doesn't affect the story all that much from my opinion of these things. So it feels kind of lackluster once you do multiple playthroughs and see how bare bones it is. But as it stands, it's a good one playthrough game. BioShock, C tier. So if anybody watches this video, they're going to be mad at me. BioShock is fine. It's okay. Gunplay is dated, obviously, as games from like 2007 or whatever are usually. But I do like dated games, but it's the wrong kind of dated. It's that slow rage kind of gameplay, and like just coupled with stupid difficulty. And I don't like the aesthetic of it. I don't like a lot of things about it. I can appreciate it. I can acknowledge that like it's a well-made game with a good story and all of that stuff. I can for sure acknowledge that, but I'm not gonna put it high in my rankings. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, solid B tier. For the most part, pretty fun Zelda game, combat-wise, and blah, 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 and enemies and stuff. Bosses, though, suck. Story sucks. Dungeons suck. The shrines and the beasts, divine beasts, whatever, are not replacements for dungeons. Not at all. They're all kind of bad. The new mechanics, like the ice block and the time thing and the magnetic thing, are all stupid and just like they looked stupid watching people play it. And I played it and beat it just like a month ago for the first time, and they're stupid just like I thought. But it's still Zelda, and the adventure and going around and like experiencing it is still worth it. But as a whole, you'll beat it and get to the end and be like, oh, that's it? Oh, okay. Wow, lame. Link to the Past, D tier. Never liked it. I played it on the Game Boy Advance, so I don't know if that's a different version than the SNES version, but I mean, it's that older type of 2D Zelda game that likes to be convoluting for no reason, and same with like the original Legend of Zelda, which I don't even know if is on this list or not. I think it probably is because I've played it before, but I don't remember if I put it on the list. And Zelda 2, I played that one too. I don't think that one's on this list either. I would put them all kind of in the D tier though, so you can kind of use that as as those 2D Zeldas all in that little spot, because yeah, they don't flow well. They don't. It's like you swing your sword and you can't turn right away, and stuff like that to change direction. So if you click the sword button a little bit too fast, then instead of turning and then swinging your sword, you'll just keep swinging your sword the wrong direction and keep getting hit. So just frustrating like mechanical issues as well. That's probably more of my issues with it than the confusing nature. So that's my thing there. And the original Super Mario Bros, D tier. Like I can get that it's well made for the time and it holds up for people who like platformers, but for the most part, most platformers suck. So, and that's the same with Super Mario Bros. These are not fun games, any of them that I've played. And so D tier, it goes. All right, next, let's see what we got. Dishonored. So, Dishonored is one of those immersive sims that is promising in a lot of ways, but it is not as good as, say, like Deus Ex, something like that. But I don't know. Like, it's pretty good. If you have, okay, if it allowed you, this is a nitpick. This is a stupid nitpick. If it allowed you to just use your sword by default and unequip your left hand item, then this would be a B tier. But as it stands, it's a C tier. I have to do this weird little glitch thing where you switch back and forth, unequip and re-equip different things till I can get just my sword out. Because I only use my sword. I refuse to use any other equipment or any power or anything. Only sword, nothing else. So, and it's like quite fun that way. It's very not fun anywhere else. I think there was one time where the game forced me to use my like zip around power. You know, you boost to another area power, and I was kind of miffed about that. But because it being a immersive sim, there should be ways to do kind of whatever you want. So I wouldn't really call it an immersive sim. It's like immersive sim light, kind of. Team Fortress 2 multiplayer madness. That's a C tier for me. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's balanced. It's fine, but it's not really fun. So that's C tier. The final boss. This is an indie of indie games. Like, I don't even think they had a publisher. I think I have a few of these on this list. So, like, it was kind of... It's like middle fun for maybe 2 hours-ish if you do everything the game has. So, I mean, you kind of just, like, play as a certain boss over and over and over again until you get enough experience to unlock the better powers, and then you can win as that boss, and then you beat the quote unquote players that are coming at you, and once you do that, you can play as another boss and start beating them again, do the same thing. So it's kind of the not too in depth, but I mean, can be fun. King Rabbit is a puzzle game. I mean, it's a competent puzzle game. So, C tier for me. It's like top-down, grid-based. Like, think super, super not as cool Baba Is You. Something like that. Which I have not played Baba Is You. That's on my list. Unrailed. Unrailed, though. That's going all the way up to A tier. This game is really fun. And you can play it 4-player local or online. And it's ridiculous. It's awesome. The little train just moves slowly across the track, and you're actively building track out of trees and rock and whatever else, and putting on the thing and building track and throwing in there. It's awesome. So, absolutely fantastic game. Hard to play by yourself. Like, not super worth it to play by yourself, because then you have like this little comm and this computer thing you can order around, and it just adds more micromanagement that I don't really like. But having multiple people is great. Deep Rock Galactic. Now that game, that's going up to S tier for me. This game rocks. It's one of those, I guess it would be a live service game. It's been going since 2016 or something like that. And it's been going strong, for me at least. I don't play it necessarily all the time, but it's one of those games I keep coming back to just play a few more rounds here and there. And, if I, have other people to play with, then that's awesome. But I'll play with randos, and it's just a great game. You mine deeper and deeper into the ground, and get gems and different things and gold, and kill these little underground bugs and stuff like that with different weapons and powers and stuff. Just well done. Second Extinction is I don't know. I haven't played this that much to be able to really. I'm gonna say C tier, but it plays like a B tier, and honestly, it plays like an A tier game. It's just balanced. It doesn't balance for one player. It's the same missions whether you have one player or more. At least that's my understanding. And it's such a low player base that I couldn't even find games with other people. So I had to play it by myself. And I was playing one part, and there was literally 50 dinosaurs around me, and I just couldn't do anything about any of it. So that was good. Horizon Chase Turbo. It's a solid B. It's a racing game. Nothing too special. Super simple. Kind of like that. It looks kind of like those 2D, not isometric, but where the track's coming at you and then the track turns and you got to turn and everything and go with it. But it's in a 3D format. But it's kind of like those older kind of racing games. Quick reaction time around corners and such. But just good fun. Nothing too complicated, but good fun. Burnout Revenge. This game, B tier. Which, I mean, I do really like this game. You basically, it's a racing game. There's races in there, but then there's also, there's sections of the game where you just try to cause as much damage as possible. You're just crashing into as many cars, and the more cars you explode or crash into, then the more points you get. And so you can like challenge your friends and whatever, and like just ramp off into oncoming traffic and cause as many explosions as possible, and it's great. 7 Days to Die. I'm gonna bring this one all the way up to A tier, especially if you can play with just friends and stuff like that with more people. Fantastic game. Like, it gets a little boring after you've played it for a few years. So there's something to say for that. But it's a competent enough game on PC, at least. It's a little bit different, a little bit more streamlined on Xbox, but on PC where I primarily play it, it's still good. Like, it's still fun and worth playing if you haven't played it. It's like upgraded Minecraft, in my opinion, where it's like actually fun. And we'll get to Minecraft here soon, I think. It's in the list somewhere. All right, Apex Legends, B tier multiplayer game only, and it's pretty fun, but not like super duper fun. I don't know, where did I put Quake 3? Yeah, Quake 3's in B tier as well. I would put it in like that same kind of level. It's not as fun as Quake 3, but people are actually playing Apex, so you can actually get games. So there's the crossover there. Deus Ex, the original. Ooh, here's the question. It's up here somewhere. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to go S+ tier for Deus Ex. Dude, this game just blew my mind at the different things you could do. Like, there was a boss, or not really a boss. It was just a person who was like telling you to not do something that you thought was the right thing to do, and there were some uppity person, and so I was just like, all right, I don't like this, and so I just killed him, and like, or I attempted to, and stuff, and you can just do that at any time, like try to kill like a story character, and it affects the story, and you can try it at any point, and it's so cool. It's like a true immersive sim, and it's just mind-blowing. It came out like 23 years ago, or 22 years ago, I don't know, early 2000s, and it's ridiculous. So I would recommend that game if you haven't played it before. Let's see, Rainbow Six Critical Hour, D tier. Sorry, but the recoil on the guns in this game is so stupid. Like, you shoot, and then the gun will like shift to the right, like like it, like this is the imagine the mouse is the cursor. You'll shoot and it'll go pow, pow, pow. It'll like literally go boom, boom, go a different spot, bam, bam, and you can't shoot while it's going. It's literally that, like that jittery, whatever. It's like, and it's so stupid. Like, that's the recoil. Like, how did anybody think that was a good idea? It just plays horribly. Like, it's like fun levels and fun setups and like fun everything about Rainbow Six, except for they ruined all the guns. And Lockdown, it's like, it's an expansion to Lockdown, which is crazy to me because Lockdown is so good. It's like, what did they do? They just ruined it. Well, I mean, it's not really, but it's like the same engine, and like I think it might be a different developer. So that might be more of what it is. It's like a remake of previous, like older Rainbow Six games or Rainbow Six levels from the computer era. StarCraft. That's A tier for me. Or is it? I mean, I played it so much as a kid. Yeah, I mean, I have to go A tier. Like the amount of different things you can do, it's so fun. I might be kind of breaking my own rule here, but I played with cheats on almost all the time, and it's so fun to play with cheats. So yeah, it's A tier with cheats, that's for sure. So we're gonna put it up there. Just good old RTS. Wii Sports, solid B. Nothing special, you know. It was really fun when it first came out. It's not really anything anymore, but Wii Tennis, that is where it's at. Dude, that's where competition lived. Ooh, Street Fighter 2. This is the original Street Fighter 2. I don't think it was Turbo or anything like that. I'm going to go B tier. Like, I played this mostly against either computers, or I would play both players on the same keyboard and fight each other and have my own like tournaments. So this isn't too much of a real rating of Street Fighter 2. But I thought it was such a good game. It was so fun as fighting games go. There's another couple fighting games that were similar to this one for me. But yeah, it was just classic. And Ken, like I named a lot of my gamer tags throughout my growing up years were Ken because of Street Fighter 2. Soul Calibur 2, actually, speaking of other fighting games, that's another one. I'd probably put up in B tier as well. Very fun single player, and super great just fighting game. Like I'm not a fighting game person. I don't really play those all that much. As you can see, I put Mortal Kombat and Tekken in D tier. It's just like kind of whatever, but I don't know. Something about those two games were fun and I enjoyed them, which is the point of games. So that's where I'm going with. All right, next. All right, here I'm going to get some real hate. Elder Scrolls 4. All right, where does this go? Elder Scrolls 4, D tier. Not good. Can I just say that? Like, it's fine. It's kind of interesting. But it's so slow. It's tedious. It's like they could have made the world so much smaller and made it so much better because you're just walking aimlessly for forever, which is a problem with so many open world games. But it's just so evident in this one, especially since there's nothing to see, there's nothing to do. Like you're just walking to the next town to do something, and it's ridiculous. I know that there's other quests and other things that happen in those times, and there's other adventures and stuff, but none of them are interesting in my opinion. At least not the ones that I ran into. And Elder Scrolls 5. Oh no, D tier as well. Sorry. I mean, it's almost E tier. It's bad. It's bad, man. Elder Scrolls 5. It's just not fun. Combat horrible. Like honestly, Daggerfall's combat is on par with Elder Scrolls 5 combat, and I just enjoy Daggerfall. The skills are better, and man, it's just so much more fun. There's so many more options in Daggerfall. It feels like I'm actually like doing my own thing and like have a purpose in this game. In these games, they feel, I don't know, stupid. Like they make killing dragons in Skyrim the lamest thing ever. It's so uneventful and just, I don't know, it's not good. It's not fun. Marvel Snap, the phone game. I guess you can get it on Steam now. Well, good old Marvel Snap. Honestly, I've been playing it quite a bit here lately. I mean, I'll go C tier. I'm not really ranking like top C tier, bottom C tier. It's just are all equal in the tiers here. It's it's a really fun game. There's some like locations. You put your guys at locations, and you want to win at least 2 of the 3 locations or something. Basically, is how you win. And there's some locations that just change up the game so much, and they're so cheap and stupid. It's like, and I get like having variety, but some of them just are, they should not be in the game. They bring down the experience. And then to unlock new cards, like initially is super fast, but then after a while it gets really, 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 really slow. And they do that because it's a free to play game and they want you to spend money. So I get it, but free to play model is just hurting you. I think I would have rather spent, $5-10 and bought the game and then unlocked it in a much more reasonable manner. Angry Birds, C tier. Classic phone game. Nothing special about it. Nothing terrible about it. But just a little bit of fun. It was one of those original, time-wasting games. Maybe not original, but original touchscreen time-wasting games. Flappy Bird. Flappy Bird. It was like weirdly fun. I remember playing it when it was all the rage. But yeah, I don't know. It's not good. I'm gonna rate it legitimately. Oh, E tier. Above Goat Simulator for sure. Undertale. A lot of people love this game. This got a lot of 10 out of 10s on the year it came out. 2015, something like that. I'm gonna put it. Ooh, where's my controversial take? Gonna put this thing. I would say B tier. Solely upon the skeleton characters. Sans and what are they? I don't even remember their names. Undyne, Sans, and Papyrus, I think, are the skeletons. So purely based on those guys, I think is why this gets to B tier. The combat is and the story is also Talk about determination. I think that's kind of I don't really like that idea of a storyline. And it's just, it tried to be something cool and different in its RPG stuff. And it was many different ways, and it was enjoyable at times, but definitely not a game for all time. Definitely not A tier for sure. All right, what's next here? Final Fight. You guys remember this game? Super Nintendo game, I think. I played a ROM of it. I played it on my older brother's Macintosh or Mac. No, what was it? iMac. The original colored iMacs. And he had a bunch of ROMs on it. So, Final Fight. Just a great side-scroller beat 'em up. B tier. It was fun. You could play 2-player. And just, it was solid mechanics, solid bosses. Just all-around fun game. But, it's limited, obviously. So, I would probably enjoy it more than Undertale. But I'm putting Undertale this high because of the story and other stuff like that, not because of the gameplay. And this has no story whatsoever. It's just gameplay. Super Meat Boy. Challenging platformer. Ooh. I'd probably put a B tier. It's fun. It's super difficult. I got through 3 overworlds. Something like that. I never owned it. I was playing it on my brother's Xbox. But super well-made platformer. I'm not a platformer guy. So to put a platformer even up in B tier is saying a lot just of how good it is. So super challenging, but also just super good. Metro 2033. Metro 2033 and Last Light are virtually the same game. So B tier because yeah, they literally they operate exactly the same. And it's like the same graphics, the same like bugs, the same weird oddities. They're all the same. They're the same game, just it's just more of it in Last Light. So B tier for that. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Oh, hit the mic. That's going A tier. This might be controversial. Everything in this list is controversial, probably, of any games that anybody knows about. Because people hated this game when it came out because of the upgrades and having to like level up and stuff like that in the Ghost Recon game. But I never played that version. I play the realistic setting where it plays like a real Ghost Recon game. And I feel like it's the best open world and like actually feel like you're usurping like this big military power and sneaking around and taking things over and taking people out. It's so well done and it's so fun. Like literally, I can't recommend this game enough. It's so fun. It gets a little cheap at times, but I mean the checkpoint system's pretty generous. It gets, I mean, not as good as you go further in the game, and it gets like exponentially harder. And I'm not super great at video games, so that might just be a me thing. But out of my enjoyment, definitely A tier. Ghost Recon Future Soldier. This one, ooh, I'm gonna go S tier for this one. Actually, this one was more linear, but I love linear games. I think they're a much better way of doing a video game than an open world, just in general, because you can tell the exact story you want to tell. You can tell it in that exact way. But then also the story, I mean, just if it was just a story mode in a basic multiplayer, it'd probably be A or B tier. But what's really great is like the horde mode it has that you can play with two people, at least locally. I don't know if you can do more online, but it's so fun, so tactical. You're moving from point to point in like a set location, and then you got waves of people coming at you. And the combat is so perfected and perfect. And like, I mean, Ghost Recon Breakpoint's good, but Future Soldier like did it right, the right amount of like equipment and powers and different like views, like night vision and heat vision and all the different things like technology and weapons, like perfect. And like it maybe not perfect, but it was really, really darn good. So super fun. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Oh, not F tier. Well, I don't know what that happened there. There we go. Let's go up here. I kind of want to put it in just S tier. Like, it's a fantastic game. The mysteries of like the ghost ship and other things, and just like paintings and the moon and all the different islands and their different puzzles. Like, it's great. I played the original on the GameCube, so the sailing is so slow. There's so many islands that are pointless, and the Triforce section. I stopped playing it for like 6 months for that Triforce section, and I got stuck. And so then I had to, I didn't Google how to do it. I pulled out my Game Boy Advance and hooked it up to the GameCube and did the Tingle Tuner, is what it's called, and got my hints to get the Triforce pieces. And yeah, and then like not a bad Ganon fight. The great bosses, pretty. Most of the dungeons were really good. So, in that sense, fantastic game. So I can overlook a lot of the other issues. If it didn't have those other issues, and maybe like finish development on a couple more dungeons, like I think they were initially planning on, but they were like getting up against the deadline. Like if they did that, it'd definitely be S+ tier. Super Mario Maker 2. I never played Maker 1, but Mario Maker 2, I'd say it's B tier, just because of the imaginative nature of like puzzle levels and other things. It's not just pure platforming all the time, and there's a lot of cool things in there to do. Like, it's fun to make a level every now and again. I mean, it's too bad that just Super Mario isn't fun to play So you have to be super creative to make it actually fun. But people make really good levels that are actually fun. And so I like the Link puzzle levels mostly is what I play that for. But it's good. Halo 5. You know what I'm going to do? D tier. Above Halo 4. This might just be because I was apathetic towards it. Because Halo 4 already ruined everything. I was actually finished Halo 5's campaign, and it was actually fun. I just didn't think of it as a Halo game. I just played it as a game, and it was fun. Halo 4 was not fun, just at all. Just not good. Halo 5, like, actually played well as a campaign. I didn't really play the multiplayer, so I can't really say anything to that. But the campaign was actually, for the most part, fun. The story was crap, and everything is stupid that happened in it. But that's why it's still D tier. But if you play it and don't think of it as a Halo game, it's not as bad as you think it is. All right. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think that's A tier. Right? Yeah, that's A tier. That's solid A tier. It's great. It's Mario Kart. And you can customize your parts, and you have so many different characters and stuff. Like, it's not Double Dash, but it's really good. It's got some really good courses. I haven't tried the new courses that you can download or purchase or whatever. Those are tempting to buy, but I don't play it a whole lot, so that one. Yep. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This one's hard for me to, like, where it goes with Wind Waker. I might put it above it, though. I might go S+. Twilight Princess, the story, the characters, the pacing, the gameplay, the dungeons, the amount of dungeons, the bosses, they're all so good. And nothing overstays its welcome. Nothing, like, makes you sit there and, like, what the heck is going on? I have no idea what to do. Wind Waker has a lot of that. It's a lot more open-ended, which can be good in its own right. But I think this was just the linear, perfect Zelda game. Now, like, looking back on, I haven't played it in years, but that's my opinion of that. The original Battletoads, also played on ROM. It was fun. It's one of those side-scroller beat-em-ups. Definitely not as good as Final Fight, just because it's so difficult and so tedious. Like, it takes so long to kill any enemy. So I'm going to go C tier for that one. Just because, it could be balanced better. Like, you can make a hard game, sure. But don't make it just stupidly long. Don't make all your enemies, like, sponges, basically. And they're not bullet sponges in that point. They're just damage sponges. Super Metroid. C tier. I do not like backtracking in these games. It's novel and fun for, like, the first hour. Then you're just sitting there like, all right, what the heck do I do? You got to look through every single area. It's not like you can just be smart about it. Just be like, oh, that makes sense. Now I need to do this. It's go to every location, try everything you can think of, and then you get through. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you get stuck again and again and again and again. And it just repeats that over and over again. So as like a side-scroller platformer and shooter and everything like that, like, it's definitely good. Like, it's well made in that way. It's a lot of fun in those moment-to-moment, like, gameplay sections, but actually progressing through the game is a chore. All right, Muck. It's like a single developer making a Minecraft game. And it's hilarious to play. It's hilariously bad. So it's like monsters are just gonna chase after you and kill you, and you can make a house, you can build stuff and craft things, but things will just glitch. Like, they'll attack an object, like a wall you put up on your house, and then the wall will just, like, do this little shake animation, but it'll, like, shake in such a way that they can glitch through it. So, like, buildings do nothing. And so it's not well made, but I think he made it on a bet. Like, somebody bet him that he couldn't make a game like Minecraft or 7 Days to Die, and he's like, bet. And so he did. So it's like it worked. It even has like a story and an ending and everything, but ridiculously hard and not not super well made. But it's hilarious that it exists. You will not remain. Sucks butt. It's our first sucks butt. I don't like this game at all. Sorry to the indie developer who made this. It's supposed to be some emotional, some kind of introspective story about something that happens and a mystery, but then the mystery is never explained or even gone into at all. I think he was going for like find your own interpretation of it, but you don't have enough information to go off of to even know what anything is or what is going on at all. So I played it all the way through, got like all the achievements and did all the things. And it's I really gave it my all to get everything out of it. But nope. Nothing. There is nothing there. There's nothing to do. There's no gameplay. You just walk around and click on things and dialogue happens. And when the dialogue and story is not good and not interesting and not well written, you're not going to stay there. Battletoads and Double Dragon. That's going to go... it's the same thing as this Battletoads. Yeah, they're just kind of there. They're good side-scroller beat-em-ups. So it's just more of that. Same issues. Not as bad, but same issues. I think it might be slightly more fun than this one, but yeah, basically the same. Bonk's Adventure. I think this was a GBA game or maybe just Game Boy. But one of those like not like strict platformers, but kind of like a Mario ripoff for the Game Boy. So C tier probably. I remember enjoying it as a kid, but it's just another one of those platformers that can't go much higher than like C tier. Now here's a weird one because I just found this one again. Like, oh man, like 6 hours ago today. And so my brother owns this for the Game Boy Advance. It's entirely in Japanese. And so I had no idea what this game was. And I've only been able to make it to like level 3 or 4, and then the game restarts when you lose. So I was like, I don't know how to save. I don't know how to do anything. It's so weird. But it's one of those top-down tactics games like Fire Emblem or, Final Fantasy Tactics, stuff like that. Grid-based. And it's fantastic. Like, it's so fun. And, like, it was honestly kind of just, like, more fun in a way to, like, have it always be in Japanese. But I found the English name of it is Super Robot Wars D. So, super weird. But, like, as a game, as a like, I'm putting in B tier for the Japanese, like, port. And if it was in English, it's at least A tier. I would say it's so good and well designed and well put together. It's so fun. But like a tactics top-down game. Yep. Pokemon, the trading card game. Don't know if anybody ever played this, but I owned it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But it is tedious because you're playing a full game of Pokemon, and every gym leader is like got 6 prizes, and they take forever. Like the game it's a slow paced card game. Things take forever to draw and play down and happen and play out, and attacks, full animation, do the whole thing. So it's just a slow game. It's fun, but it's hard to play. So C tier for that. All right, what's next? The Walking Dead Telltale game. I only ever played season 1, and I don't think I completed it all the way, but I've seen people, I've like watched people go through the whole game. So I've gotten like the full story and what the choices do and everything. And I don't know. I'd probably put it in C tier with Batman, the Telltale series, for the same reasons. It's just that your choices don't really do all that much. Like the end still happens the same way every single time. and it's ridiculous. Like, if you play it once, then you might be like, oh man, this is my story that I made based on my choices. But no, it's 1% your story and 99% the actual, like, the developer story. I think it's lazy. I think it is just false advertising, really, for those Telltale games. Like, they can be enjoyable, like the story and everything like that, and the characters are usually well written. So that's the enjoyment. That's why it's in C tier and not much lower. Mirror's Edge, B tier. Just parkour, running around on rooftops. Classic. Just, it's well done. Well done game. Spec Ops: The Line. This is another one, kind of like Dishonored, where I put like I had to play it a certain way, or else it wasn't fun. And so I had to use sidearms, put on the hardest difficulty, use sidearms only, and never use the cover mechanic, and always run around. So I did that. I only had it for a little while, so got maybe halfway through the game or so doing that, and that was kind of a lot of fun, actually. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's like, it's competent enough third person action game. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing special. Same with Army of Two: Devil's Cartel. It is more fun being able to play with multiple people, but I don't like a co-op game playing it by yourself. So you're kind of stuck. You have to play with two people. I was lucky enough to play it with my brother, so that made it more fun. But it is a little jankier than Spec Ops: The Line. Fire Emblem: The Binding Blade. Oh. That's going up here to, I think, S tier. That's an S tier game right there. Well, no, that's the Binding Blade. I was thinking of the wrong one. A tier. This is the Game Boy Advance port of Fire Emblem 6. So, I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. It's Fire Emblem, that top-down tactics gameplay, grid base and everything. It's so well made, permadeath, all that stuff. The issue I have with it is the shops, and like when weapons break, it takes like 5 levels before you'll ever see a shop that has anything useful in it again. So it's super sparse in that regard. And so it's like, I get is a design choice, but I think it was to its detriment. But for the most part, gameplay is just great. And the story is, run-of-the-mill stuff. Among Us, solid C. It's fun for a little bit, and then it gets really boring and stupid. Yep, that's what it is. De Blob sucks butt. Absolutely sucks blood. Sucks blut. BLUTT. Blob. It's a game where you color walls with the color of your blob. Controls are atrocious. It's a platformer, which is already terrible, and it's horribly made. It's so bad, and it's so tedious. Like, change this whole row orange without, switching back to red. There'll be red paint on the ground, and you'll have orange, thing, and you're running around so slowly and jumping so stupidly. It's just terribly made game. One of the worst games of all time. I hate it. Do not play it unless you want to hate everything. Lego Marvel. I mean, Lego games are basic, but I actually had fun with this one. It's just ridiculous enough to have fun with it. So I'm going to go in B tier, actually. And yeah, it's fun. It's like pointless fun, but it's fun nonetheless. So that's all I really have to say about that. Lego Lord of the Rings. It's like take all the fun out, and you're left with crappy Lego gameplay. E tier. Minecraft. E tier. I mean, I don't get why people like this game. You can do what you can do with Legos just in a game, so it's less expensive. So I get if you just want to build stuff, cool. But I understand that no game really has a point other than having fun. So if you have fun just doing mindless stuff, then that's your prerogative. But I don't, at least not in this way. 7 Days to Die gets this way as well for me a lot if I play it too much if I play it too much in a row, where it just becomes like pointless because it's just never ending. Just keeps going, blah 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 blah, and you just try to survive in 7 Days to Die. But this one's just like an easier version of that, where really the point is just build stuff, and I think that's kind of just kind of stupid. Crafting and building is overplayed. So I'm putting 7 Days to Die this high because this is the one game that I did that with, and it's fun when you have multiple people to survive and do that with and figure out the game, because it's way more complex than Minecraft in the sense of like actually having to survive. To actually play the game, it's more complex, but Minecraft gets more and more complex if you choose to look into those complex things. But those complex things aren't fun, so therefore 7 Days to Die is much better. But it also, like, it's like S tier game for the high moments and like B or C tier game for the low moments. So I put it in A. So Cyber Dodge, super indie game. It's fine. Controls not great, but it's one of those runner kind of games where you're this ball and you jump and slide and move around. Gravitational pull moves different ways and whatever, and you try to make it through like a 30-second level going really fast and stuff. And so it's fine. It's whatever, but nothing special. It was like $6, way too expensive for it. So if you're into, laggy, non-responsive games that require precision platforming and movement, then you can pick it up. But I obviously don't recommend it. We Play. This one had, I'm trying to think of all the games that were on We Play. The tanks, that was so fun. What was it? The ping pong, and had a few other things. Yeah, like the duck hunt kind of thing. Yeah, B tier. That's a B tier game. It was fun, for sure. Same with Cabela's Big Game Hunter, 2008. I think it was 2008 that I had. It was on the Wii, and it was mostly fun when you just like tried to take on a bear with like a 50 caliber what is that, black powder rifle, and you would just like shoot it once and run away as you're reloading this thing, and then turn around, shoot it again, run away, and you do that for like 20 minutes. So it was just fun. It's just mindless, stupid fun. You could challenge friends and family, whatever, and try to get a better score, getting a better deer or whatever. It's basic, but it's fun at least. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is actually quite a bit of fun. Why does it keep clicking? Okay. Where'd it go? There it is. I'm going to go A tier. It's a lot of fun. It's just a bunch of mini games basically. But it's it's a lot of fun. So you're just doing Olympic events, which I love, world records and record breaking and stuff like that. That's just great for me. So it's going A tier. This tier list is getting packed, and we've got a lot to go. All right, I don't know how many though. Pokemon Stadium, the original. I played it mostly for the mini games, but the mini games are a lot of fun. A tier. Just absolutely hilarious fun. So N64, classic game. Pokemon Stadium 2, I think I may have also played that one as well. So you can kind of put both of those in that same A tier bracket. Stardew Valley, F tier. Sucks. Farming? Like literally farming? What? Who plays games like this? I don't get why these are popular. I respect the developer. 100% respect, like huge respect for this. Made this game like 6 years by himself, made it successful, made like story and a dungeon and combat and blah 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 and seasons and like so much content, but none of it's fun. So I'm glad people enjoy it. I'm glad he's, successful because of it. Like, that's great. But man, is it boring. So, Monster Hunter World. Man, a lot of these games are games that people would put in like the top 100 games of all time. A lot of them. I don't have a lot of those, but on this list, but Monster Hunter World would be up there, I think. And I am not that person. C tier. Complicated combat, cool monsters, cool customization and stuff, but bad design choices on how the monsters fight, how the monsters run away, how the monsters can stun lock you, and all these other things. And it's just a cheap game, not well designed in a lot of ways. So removes the fun out of it, and I think that's a stupid thing to do. Halo 3 ODST. These are not in any particular order, as you can tell. That's A tier for me. It's built on Halo 3, which I think, like the Halo 3 engine and just the way it plays, is the worst of the original trilogy. But ODST is good fun, just more Halo in slightly weaker sense, which does make fighting hunters and other things like that a lot more fun. This is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is the one I was thinking about. S tier. GameCube game. It's so good. I actually got connected to the characters. The upgrade system is awesome. It's there's these bonus XP after every match, and you can cheese the game by just saving it for as long as possible, because then that bonus XP is still worth 1 XP even at later levels, and it only takes up to 100 XP to level up each time. So since that doesn't increase, you can just wait till way later in the game, then level your guys up a bunch, which is kind of what I did. So it's so well done, and great levels, great kind of pretty good story, honestly, when it comes to these RPG generic stories. But I love the characters, love the interactions with them and everything, and the gameplay is good. Magic Duels is just magic, but online. C tier. It's fun enough, but you have to really, 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 really get into it if you want to get something out of it. So for that reason, C tier. If you really delve into it and really go for it, then yeah, you're gonna love it. But nah. Call of Duty 3. It keeps clicking. Pow. B tier. Up with the other Call of Duties. Really, they kind of felt pretty samey, but they were all fun in their maybe not own way, but kind of in the same way. Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, yeah, they're all fun little games. Nothing too special. Same with World at War, actually. That's also B tier. Nightcaster. I guess I'll go F- on Nightcaster. Remember that game? Original Xbox game. Completely mana based, where you're doing the slowest spells on the face of the planet, face of any magic game ever. It's so slow. Literally, it takes minutes to take down the tiniest little enemy, little slime or whatever, and you have to match your magic and stuff to defeat enemies and stuff, and you'll miss all the time because you're so slow and they're not as slow. So, zero fun to be had there. Never Song. This one is the only game I've played by Thomas Brush. And it's kind of a platformer. It's not super strict platforming. The story, it is really good at the beginning and it falls off at the end, and it didn't have as much impact on me as I kind of hoped it would. And it's super short. Really short game. So, for what's there, it's really good. B tier. Like, it's almost A tier if it was a little bit longer, a little bit more polished with the puzzles. Then, like, the bosses were maybe a little bit more fleshed out, and the story was a little bit better. Like, I mean, just like a little bit on many different aspects, but a little bit there. So, like, I don't know, another few months of development on this one would have been kind of nice to see a little bit more to it, because I did really like it, but it's kind of disappointing at the end. PlanetSide 2, multiplayer only. Shooter where you just try to two sides trying to fight for the control of the planet, basically. C tier, competent enough. Pretty fun, but it's really hard to get into unless you're into it. Then you're gonna love it. Same as Magic Duels. 6F and 6O, probably one of the more fun platformer shooter games I've played. It's in a different language, so I didn't understand a bit of it, but I got a good bit through this game before I got stuck, and I think I was stuck because I couldn't read what was going on. But absolutely, like, really fun game. Super simple, but really fun. So I'm going B tier with that one. And that was also indie developer, no publisher, no nothing. That was probably my favorite one. I actually enjoyed playing that one. Stanley Parable, it's pretty funny, but then when you realize that the game has no interactivity and you just are playing it to get all of the voice lines, you're just... It's kind of just better to watch a video of somebody playing it, because that's the same experience you're going to get when you play it. So it's not really a game. It's more like a movie. So you're kind of watching it happen. So for in that regard, C tier. Even though it's a good movie, it's not a game. It's a movie. So Valkyria Chronicles, S tier. It's like real-time strategy mixed with turn-based combat. And it's so good, where enemies can attack you as you get up in their range and stuff like that, like actively. And there's so much strategy with tanks and mines and the different classes of characters and stuff. And you can build out how many of each character you have on your team and which ones you go to battle with. And they made the really smart decision to level up the classes themselves, not the individual people, which is like Fire Emblem's problem, is that when you put so much energy into certain people and they die, then they're gone. And Valkyria Chronicles, they're gone if they die and you don't rescue them, but then you can just put another person in their place and they're virtually the same. The only thing you're losing is like the different things that like mesh well. Like some person might fight really well in the desert or something, and or one person might have allergies, or just different things that either buffs them or lowers their abilities. So that's kind of the only thing with the regular players, that you get the generic characters. But it's super fun, super imaginative game. It's a puzzle action game, and it melds both phenomenally. All right. Will You Snail Precision Platformer. I'm not a platformer guy. It's super difficult. If you bring it all the way down to the easiest difficulty, like, it's really doable. Like the next one is like pretty doable, and the next one's like impossible, and there's two more above that. So I don't know. Like, I want to put it in B tier. The story like tried to be really cool and everything, but it's really not. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's kind of cool, the idea of it. It's like an AI follows your movements and tries to predict where you're going to be to kill you faster, which is a great idea. Hard to make an actual fun game out of something like that, unless you're just top tier level gamer and you're looking for that ultra challenge, which I am not. So C tier for me, but great game in and of itself, like well made. The Witness puzzle game did not live up to the hype for me. I really like Jonathan Blow, the guy who made this, but definitely not the game that, like, it's a little much for me. And so they really don't. I like how that doesn't hold your hand, and I like certain things, but it's also like open ended, and I like linear games, so I'm not a huge fan of just like the open endedness nature of it. So I don't know. I'm between B and C, but I think I'm gonna have to go C on it. The actual like puzzles and stuff like that are fantastically designed, well made, well structured, but like the overarching like game as it goes puzzle to puzzle and thing to thing is not my favorite. Zombie Defense. It's a D tier game, but it's S tier fun when you're trying to waste time during a college class that you don't care about. So I played a lot of this in college. Just sat there mindlessly playing Zombie Defense. And it can be fun for a little bit. Unlock some people, put them on different circles, and you can move them around. But while you're moving them around, they're like invulnerable. So it's like as long as they're like always moving, you're always safe. But it's pretty fun. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different upgrades. So if you like tower defense games with a little bit more interactivity, you might really like Zombie Defense. Spin Doctor, an old Macintosh games on our Mac, not our Mac Classic, the next one up, whatever that next Mac was, 1995, something like that. But you're a little stick, and you spin, and there's these grids of dots, and you spin around, and you touch a dot, and then you're connected to that dot now, and then you spin around and go different places, and you dodge different spinning things and other things, and moving around and open doors and figure out puzzles. It's honestly like pretty darn fun. So, classic Spin Doctor. All right, what's next? Matrix: Path of Neo. So this is the second Matrix series on the original Xbox. Honestly, great game. Super glitchy, but hilariously great and fun combat between the guns and the kung fu and everything. I remember like just beating up the agents because I was so good at the game. Like I'd beat them up way earlier than you're supposed to be able to, and I don't know how hard that is, but it was a lot of fun beating them up like out of story. Like, but you can't actually win the fight. You have to like do the specific thing, like do the move where you dodge the bullet, and then Trinity goes and shoots him in the side of the head. You have to do that, but like it's so much more fun to like keep fighting them and keep kicking them off the building, and then they just keep coming back infinitely. It's a great game. Lord of the Rings 2 Towers, so fun. Like 3D fixed camera where it follows you around as you go through the missions and everything. There are some levels at the end that get super, super cheap. So, like, in that regard, I mean, I'll go B tier for that. Same with this one. For the same reason. There's some levels that are just way harder than they have any right to be. And yeah, so they're cheap. But for the most part, these games are really solid. You got upgrade system, upgrade your power, and upgrade different combos and moves for each of the characters. And so you got plenty of characters, plenty of things to do, and you go through the films, and it's hilarious. Keys to the Castle, also on the same computer that I played Spin Doctor on. It's it's a terrible game. It sucks. But I think it's hilarious to have it on this list. F tier. I always went back to it trying to figure out what the heck was going on. It's like a randomly generated area, and there's multiple like levels in there, and it's all blanked out, and you figure out where things are by just exploring. But there's so many enemies, and you'll die so fast, and you're on a timer, so it's like ridiculously difficult. It makes no sense, and you get no information. Something about finding keys. I think it's like 4 keys, and then get back to the start and you win, something like that. But it's like super simple premise, so difficult, and like you'll just go into a little piece of gray, and there'll be like a bunch of enemies there, and they go bam, 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 and like they'll hit you, and it does the little sound, ow, 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 ow. Like, it's a classic sound effect. So if you've played it, you know, you know, but it's just stupid. It's not good. I still think it's fun, but not in like this game is good that it's fun. It's that it's terrible, and then you laugh at it. 13. C tier. Almost competent shooter. Weird checkpoint system where you just save, and so there's no like checkpoint at a start of a level. So I stopped playing it after I got super far in the next level, realized I was so like in such a terrible place that I couldn't win at that point. So I was going to revert to my previous save, but I didn't save at the start of that level. I had to go back before the previous boss that was extremely difficult and cheap. And I was like, nope, done with this game. So like they needed to have like a level select in there, but they don't, which seems like a no-brainer to me. X2 Wolverine's Revenge. D tier, gameplay, everything super fun, super great. Like really fun combos and slice mechanics, but Wolverine dies so quickly, and I always hated it for that. Like, you're Wolverine, you're supposed to be this super cool, super like powerful mutant, and this one guy with a gun just and you're dead. And I always thought that was the stupidest thing. So, absolutely out of this world difficult. How many more games do we got? Oh my gosh, so many. All right, let's see. Command & Conquer 64. Let's just start speeding through these. Command & Conquer 64. C tier. It's fun, but not great. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Solid. A tier. Pro Skating content. Great. Red Faction 2. Stupid story. The story falls off in the second half. First half is great. B tier. Resistance. Similar, honestly, but more consistent. I'm tempted to go A tier with it, honestly. The weapons are not as good as Red Faction 2, but the gameplay and story is much more consistent. Enter the Matrix. So, I really enjoyed this game, even though a lot of people hate it because it's so janky. And, like, you don't shoot with the trigger, like the right trigger that you normally shoot guns with. You shoot on the original Xbox controller. There was the black and white buttons, and you shoot with the black button. You push that down to shoot, and it's so stupid. So it's going B tier, but it's a lot of fun. It's one of those glitchy fighter games as well. 007 From Russia with Love has some stupid levels, just absolutely stupid, like mindless levels, but solid B tier shooter. You lock on and shoot people and whatever. But I don't know, it's pretty fun. Dead or Alive 3. That's going up there with I think, yeah, these guys. It's another one of those fun fighters like Street Fighter 2 and Soul Calibur 2. Played it by myself with 2 Xbox controllers, or I would play it against siblings and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Played it a lot. Great characters. I was always the purple-haired lady. Ayano or something like that. I was always that lady. That's my main. Castle Crashers. Ooh, this is a good one. A tier. Side scroller. Beat 'em up again. You can play with 4 players though. Heck yeah. Great upgrades. Great everything. It's like everything that like you wanted out of Final Fight and these kind of games just made better. Just a hilarious story and art style and great stuff. Pokemon Snap, that's also A tier. That's gotta go A tier. Taking pictures of Pokemon, you get scored on it, and you unlock secrets next levels. Yeah, fantastic. S plus tier for Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. Everyone should know why that's S plus tier. It's so good. Each character is hilarious. The stories flow so well together. The puzzles are amazing. There's only like one part where you're going to get stuck, but that's fine. The combat is great, and if you figure out using the badge system, and then keeping your health at like 5, never upgrading your health, and you might upgrade your flower power like once, maybe twice, and the rest go to badges, and you go like all in on low health badges, you'll just steamroll the game. It's so fun. Battlefront, A tier. Battlefront 2, I think I'm gonna go S tier for Battlefront 2. It just upgrades it. It has the space battles, has the galactic conquest mode, has more options for what to do. It's got more, I think it has more units in it too, vehicles and everything. It's just all around. They're both so good. And on the heroes, you can be the heroes in Battlefront 2. I remember that surprised me out of the blue. It just randomly happened to me the first time I played it, and I could be Darth Maul, and I was like, what? And it was the coolest thing ever. So just, and these are the original Xbox Ones, by the way. Blew me away with how imaginative and great they were. Portal 1. Great puzzles, kind of short, pretty good story, great dialogue, hilarious game. S tier. I'd go S tier. Portal 2, I'm actually going to be a little controversial. A tier. So the reason it's lower is because it's so easy. The first one was actually difficult and had great like inventive puzzles. Portal 2 like introduced so many more mechanics, and so they kept all the puzzles really, really dumb. So it really never stumps you. And there's generally not a lot of like areas, especially in the second half of the game, there's not a lot of areas that you can actually put portals down. So you end up just like, oh, you see a random spot way out in the distance that is a portalable surface. And so like, oh, that's going to be used in the solution. Okay, how does that use? Oh, okay, boom, 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 and you're done. It's just like they don't just leave it open-ended, but there's a specific way to do it. And it's so easy to see by how it's designed. So, Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 1. Classic. I love it. But I'm going to go A tier. It is so good. But I think, I don't know. I don't like... I like in concept the idea of the zombies getting back up and being like the claw red head zombies, whatever they are. But I don't like playing it. So on that regard, it's going down to A. Resident Evil 2, on the other hand, that's S tier. S tier material. Love this game. I played it through twice. This game gave me nightmares and terrified me as a kid. Played it through, and when I was in late high school, early college maybe, and played through it twice, got the true ending, did the whole thing. Loved every minute of it. Loved survival horror. This was the first I played in the series, was Resident Evil 2. Always be special to me. Resident Evil 4, it's great. It is great. Everyone knows that game. Boom. A tier. Nothing else to say. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So, I'll go B tier. Super floaty, great game. Super floaty. The campaign's really fun until like the last quarter, but super good for the most part. Half-Life 2, A tier. Gets really boring and monotonous and tedious, where most games would like skip the travel between sections that are really stupid and boring. This game forces you to go through them, which I can admire and get that's like the whole like reason for why those games are kind of cool. But actually playing through it is debatable on how good it actually is. Jackbox Party Pack 7. It's got Quiplash 3 and all the other games kind of suck. C tier. Area 51, which is an original Xbox game that was tried to kill Halo. One of the first Halo killers, quote unquote. but I don't know. It had David Duchovny voicing it in a very spooky way and stuff, but he was like the protagonist, and like the first half is great. Then you like are able to turn back and forth into this alien monster thing. It's like it's honestly pretty fun, but I don't know if I can justify B tier for it. I don't know. I'll go B tier. Just because of the novelty of a game like that. They fake the moon landing in it. It's funny. Original Half-Life, B tier. Same gripes that Half-Life 2 has, but phenomenal, like in many ways. Roller Coaster Tycoon, B tier. It's great to make roller coasters that kill people. It's fun. Pokemon Red, solid A tier. Did not beat it until I was in high school, I think, because it was so difficult to get to Cinnabar Island. I didn't know how to do that and get that gym badge. Other than that, fantastic game. You play with one Pokemon and just cheese it out. Pokemon Silver, basically the upgraded Pokemon Red, S tier. I played that even recently and full percented it. Well, I didn't full percent. I didn't catch every Pokemon, but I did all the things you can do. I went up to the mountaintop or cave thing and beat Red and did all those things, and like it's so fun. I enjoy that game a lot. The day-night cycle was so good. So many things. Pokemon Emerald, never beat this game because this was always my brother's, but it didn't ever seem to be as good or as special as Pokemon Silver, or Crystal, which would have been the equivalent, but I didn't have Crystal either. Final Fantasy Tactics, super, like, I'm gonna put it in A tier just because of like the story and like how the game actually plays, but in the sense of the random encounters and the guilds and all that stuff, it bogs the game and adds like 10 hours to the game. So, and it's completely unnecessary. So that should have just all been cut out. Made the game so much better. Jackbox Party Pack 2 has got what games does it have on there? It's got the Quiplash XL, Bidiots, I think. I think those are really the only two ones. Maybe Fibbage is good. I don't know if that's on there. But yeah, boom. B tier. Jackbox 3. That's A tier. Pow. Quiplash 2 and Trivia Murder Party and TKO. All great. Jackbox 5. I go A tier as well. Mostly for the robot rap battle. That one's like the most fun game ever on the Jackbox game. So that one alone carries that whole game. Ooh, Halo Reach. Halo Reach. That's A tier for me. That's A tier. It's a great game. Just not true Halo, in my opinion. Dance Dance Revolution. Ultra Mix. Also A tier. King of rhythm games right there. Oh, Rise of the Robots. Does anybody remember this game? The terrible fighting game from the SNES. It was 3D. It was using like that FX chip that's in the SNES to have these cool, fully 3D CG animated cutscenes and stuff like that. But they're so low res and dumb, and the game sucks. Some of the characters can reach like clear across the screen and hit you. Like on top, like in the hitboxes, like everywhere on the little robot leg that shoots out. It's like if you land on top of it or the side of it or anywhere, then you're gonna get hit. So if you have a short range versus somebody that has a long range, they just use their long attack over and over again, and you can't ever hit them. So F- tier. Sucks butt, actually. Earthworm Jim. I love Earthworm Jim, but actually playing it, C tier. Beautiful Joe. Classic 3D platformer. Oh man, it's so fun to play, even though I suck at it. It's super hard. B tier. Katamari Damacy. F tier. Like going head to head against somebody is kind of fun, like once, and then you're done with that game. It's stupid. Super Mario World. F tier. Like, I played these games a lot as a kid, like on the Super Nintendo. And they really suck. They're not fun, and they're not good. Super Mario Bros. 3, F tier as well. Similar thing. I played it on the Game Boy Advance, though. But probably, it might be a little bit more fun than Super Mario World, but nope. All right, some Atari games. This is going to blow your mind right here. Sword Quest Earthworld. It's going to go sucks butt. Sword Quest Fireworld is going to be in sucks butt. But Sword Quest Waterworld. What about this one? E tier. You might wonder, how in the heck can that one go all the way up here? Still terrible. I'll tell you. These two make no sense, as do most Atari 2600 games. And they're completely nonsensical, especially since I didn't have the manuals. This one, on the other hand, is intuitive and well designed and had like items to use and like paths to go. And it was like an early Zelda. Like, I honestly enjoyed this quite a bit, despite how crappy it is. So this is probably the best, like one of my favorite games of the E tier. I actually enjoyed that one. 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, another Atari game. Hilarious game. It's like 4 layers, 5x5 grid, or 4x4 grid, I think, 5 layers. And you can like line it up like through the layers, and you gotta get like, it's super funny. Honestly, though, it's super ingenious, but there's not much to it. So F tier, I guess. It's just you playing tic-tac-toe, and so it's like you literally play it once with somebody else, and you're like, oh, that was really cool, and you never play it again. Asteroids, sucks butt. Everybody knows it sucks butt. Original Max Payne, super difficult game, and I am not good at it. But great story, great a lot of things. C tier. Galaga, all right game. It's one of those super hard games that eats up quarters, so it's not well designed in that sense. So E tier for me. Gradius 3 is gonna go C tier, honestly. I got like halfway through this game, because it's another super difficult game. You run out of lives, you start the whole game over. So I don't know, it's the side-scrolling ship battles, and I got really good at it for a while, and the powers are super cool, the bosses are super cool. So it's like, if it wasn't for like the one-hit kills that plague these games so much and make them so difficult, and then obviously the lives making you restart the whole game, like this, honestly, the amount of fun that this game is like A tier for me. So that brings it up to C, because everything else sucks. Predator, Concrete Jungle, D tier. Terrible game. You like skin people alive and hang them up, and it's like, why am I doing this? Literally no purpose. And like, fun concept, but it should have been like, they should have just had it in the forest and made it go against like the actual people from the first movie. That would have been kind of fun. Make it like a stealth game and use your powers that way. That would have been much more fun. Mega Man and Bass. Probably one of the more fun Mega Man games I ever played. But I suck at Mega Man, so I can respect it. But D tier. I liked playing as Bass better because he could shoot diagonally. Mega Man was stupid. Mega Man X. Same kind of thing. I'm actually going to put it lower, though, because it's just those games aren't, I don't think they're designed well, personally. Same with the original Mega Man. Bow. I don't remember if I think I've played the original and some of the other ones, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 or something like that. But I would lop all of those into this one right here. Pow. Bomberman, though. Dude, Bomberman. B tier. Amazing game. I loved it. Like, Honestly, you can't go wrong with original Bomberman. It's so good. Pong, super basic, super simple, super whatever. F tier. Pac-Man versus Mrs. Pac-Man. Not versus, versus. Slash, the same game. I played Pac-Man on an arcade cabinet quite a bit at our roller rink growing up. And I thought it was fun back in the day. But they're not good games. F tier. Pirates of the Caribbean. E tier. Just terribly made. Sword fighting is kind of cool for half a second, for like the first level. Then you realize the game sucks. Space Invaders. This is the original Space Invaders. I mean, it's just an old game that's super simple. So nothing wrong with it, but F tier. All right. These are so randomly ordered. Rainbow Six 3 Black Arrow. That's gonna go up to B tier. I think I had my other Rainbow Six 3 game in here too. Yeah. It's just like, it has 2 players, so that's kind of nice. It takes away your gun model, though, and leaves you just with the crosshair, which is stupid. I don't understand why Rainbow Six was about just the crosshair. I didn't like that. But, still fun. Less fun than this game, I would think, but more fun with the co-op option, so a little give and take there. Freedom Fighters, made by IO Interactive, same people who made Hitman for the original Xbox. And it was like a mini immersive sim with like each level being interconnected, so you could kind of like go to each level at almost any time. Even though you had like a primary mission in that level, you could just like find a sewer and leave at any point and then just go back and continue doing stuff. Or like you get stuck being chased down by a helicopter, so you just jump into the ocean and swim around the island and evade them or whatever. So like there's some variety there. When you like basically build up an army, build up your charisma, build up an army, and defeat the Russians that are invading America. And it's a lot of fun. Probably go B tier. It's a little floaty in the combat and not necessarily the most consistent game, but the ideas are solid. Brothers in Arms, Earned in Blood. Basically not as good Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, which are tactical World War II shooter games. If you want to put the time into it, they're super awesome, but they take a lot of time to get good at. Payday 2. Payday 2 is like A tier. It's super stupid to play with computers. The computers are not good, so it's meant to be played with more people. But it's super difficult to like actually get people to play that game. But the heist mechanics and everything, I don't know, most of them are super good. All right. BioShock Infinite. A tier. I didn't play video games for a while in 14, I think. And I just didn't. I was just not into them. And then I just decided to try BioShock Infinite, and it thrust me back in to video games, like hardcore. So I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but it made me enjoy video games again. So I've got to give it A tier. Metal Gear Solid 2, guess what? S tier. Pow. Fantastic. I didn't really live through the bad hype of it being Raiden instead of Solid Snake and all that stuff. So that's just kind of whatever for me, but the game itself is, like, the boss fights are great. The cutscenes are hilariously long, but super fun to watch, and the story's great. And the mechanics and how the game changes so often and so much, and mechanically it's so sound and so well made. Just a fun game. Unreal Tournament. Played this so much. S tier. It's a multiplayer game, but you can just play anything with bots. So I did all the time. Literally probably all the levels, all the different things, hundreds of times. Holds up so well. Just Cause 2. Super great grapple hook mechanics. But then the game starts bogging down because you have to just get so many explosion points or whatever to progress. And so it just kind of goes to a halt. Same as Just Cause 3, but I would say Just Cause 3 is maybe a touch better. And you got like a wingsuit and other stuff, but it's still the basic grapple hook parachute mechanics that you've seen, and you can like, you know, hijack helicopters and stuff. So it's just B-movie fun, but A-tier game. Super hot. Great puzzle shooter. Honestly, A-tier. Time moves only when you move, technically. It only actually goes really slow when you don't move. So, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. A-tier, super enjoyable game, super difficult. You fight zombies and robot Nazis and stuff, and you shoot them, and classic. Wolfenstein 3D, D tier. Not good. Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, pow, A tier. Great classic tactical shooter. Remember Shaq Fu? So stupidly difficult. I'm gonna go F minus actually. It's not gonna go into sucks, but F minus. It's on par with Nightcaster. Maybe a little bit better. Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. This is another one of those side-scroller beat-em-ups. It's just a classic, I don't know, B tier. I enjoyed it, being able to play as both Spider-Man and or Venom. Super Punch-Out. I never played the original Punch-Out, and I was not good at Super Punch-Out at all. I never beat Glass Joe. He destroyed me. I think the mechanics are mostly good, but I think they're lacking. I find them lacking. Or maybe it was just bad. That's probably what it was. But this is my list, so C tier. Captain America and the Avengers. Another one of those side-scroller beat-em-ups. Probably not as good as some of these ones in the B tier, like Final Fight and Spider-Man. So I go C tier, I guess. I still enjoyed it, but super basic. That was my introduction to Red Skull, and I thought Red Skull was so cool. So I was excited about the Captain America movie when Red Skull was the enemy. Peasant Quest. Good old Peasant Quest from Homestar Runner. Actually, fun adventure game. And hilarious, especially if you know Homestar Runner. B tier. Trogdor, the original one where you're stomping on people and burning buildings and stuff. Not too much of a game. So C tier, but it's fun in its own right. Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people, on the other hand. That's A tier. Hilarious. I love the show, grew up on that stuff, and loved all 5 episodes of this game. This game is by Telltale as well, so it's one of those adventure games. There's not much like really to do, but it's just dialogue, but it's so funny and well written, and so many stupid things that you can do, and it's great. All right, we're going through all of the Homestar Runner games here. Oh, look, we're almost done. Thy Dungeon Man. Thy Dungeon Man. Super short, text-based dungeon crawler game where you put text commands in. I'd say it's like C tier. Same with the third one. Third one has graphics a little bit, like a picture graphic of each area, including a description. A little bit more complicated than this one, but they're fun. They're fun, short, not much to them. If you want to play a game and beat a game in, between 5 minutes and an hour maybe, then you can play those games. Not bad. Sting Command 28 XT6. I'm going to go C tier as well. I've only beaten the very first level and the very last level. There's 10 levels. The rest of them are like too hard for me. I don't know why the last level somehow was possible for me to beat it, but just barely beat it. It's a platformer, but you either punch or kick or shoot little fireballs out of your characters and stuff, and go through complicated platforming levels and stuff with not the best controls that always seem to kill me. So that's why it's going like C tier. But it's a fun game, and it's hilarious in its own right. Made by Homestar Runner people. Bit Electrics. Danger-esque, same thing. I'm actually going to put a B tier though. It's super short, but a puzzle game where you figure out the whole crime and all this stuff from inside your office. So it's kind of a stupid game, but another one of those half-hour games. Oh, Secret Collect. There's the last one of these. D tier. There's really not much to do. It's really simple. It's just squares going around, You dodge other squares, and then you also, I mean, you dodge the squares and you get the squares, and that's really it. So I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. That's it. So Mario Kart Wii. It's a good game. It's a great game. A tier. Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's an S tier game. I love this game. I played this one probably the most. It's between this one and the first one, but I think this one the most. Great. Fantastic combat. Halo Infinite. B tier. Sad that it's only B tier, but campaign was just okay and multiplayer sucks. So Splinter Cell. Oh, Splinter Cell Double Agent. I enjoyed this one a lot. The original Xbox One has a way better story than the Xbox 360 one. And a story, I mean, like, yeah, it's really well made. They're two completely different games. They're not ports of each other. So there's something to be said for that. But I think this one's the canon one. Way more effort was put into it. I kind of want to put it in S tier. But with all the glitches that you see and game-breaking bugs, and you have to, like, keep resetting levels and checkpoints and stuff, I think that brings it down to A tier. So, Super Robot Wars D. Wait. Did I put that in twice? I might have. Wait, did I really? I did. There's Super Robot Wars D. Why is it in there twice? I don't know. Okay, well, that one's just going to stay down there. Fallout New Vegas. Fantastic Fallout game, super slow. Up the speed of everything. B tier. Sneak King. Remember this stealth game for Burger King? Back on the original Xbox? Everything about it sucks butt. But I think it's a hilarious game. It was like the third best-selling game on the original Xbox, which is hilarious. Madden 2005. It was fun. It had its moments. E tier. So not completely but not really anything better than that. So wait a minute. Some of these are duplicates. Did I have Soul Calibur? Or not Soul Calibur. I meant Guitar Hero. I had First to Fight already on here. Dance Dance Revolution already on here. I don't think I did Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero, these are solid B tier rhythm games. Fun enough. NBA Jam. Oh, NBA Jam, the best basketball game ever made. A tier. Sorry, that's as good as basketball games get. Rock Band, B tier as well. Just more of it. Always fun, though. Hunt of the Reckoning, top down, up to 4 people playing on single TV. Super limited, super difficult, super like limited screen, but the gameplay is pretty fun. Zombie killer. Silent Scope. One of those, like this is the light gun game. So the original Xbox game has like 4 Silent Scope games, but I'm also like including the arcade cabinet, which is super good. And I think that's A tier. I think it's worthy of A tier. You just, go for headshots and kill bosses, and it's over the top and great. Crisis. It's a crisis that this game isn't all that great. C tier. StarCraft Brood War. I think that's a solid. It's a solid A. It's fun. StarCraft 2. It's a little bit like it bogs it down by having just too much. B tier. Still fun, but eh. XCOM, a tactical game you think I would really enjoy, but it doesn't. It doesn't just capture my, capture me. B tier. The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Remember having a lot of fun with this game. but there's not a lot of substance other than just smashing things. But it can be fun, at least B tier. Lego Star Wars. Playing with other people was fun and it was hilarious. So I think both of these can go C tier. Just based on the story alone, the gameplay was nothing to write home about. Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. This is like a pretty new game, made by some indie developer, and they had a publisher, but they just were not. They didn't know how to make a game. They didn't know how to make something fun. F-. Black. Shooter game that gives you way too much ammo and the enemies way too much health. They literally could have halved everything, and it would have been a much better game. But nonetheless, competent shooter, C tier. Superman Returns. This is the original Xbox game based on the movie, so movie tie-in. But there was like other enemies too, so it wasn't really based on the movie. And you go around the lifeless city and like save people and beat up enemies. It was fine. D tier. Frogger Ancient Shadow sucks butt. Like you have a joystick, but you can't use it. So you have to use the A button to jump, okay? And you're in like this 3D world, you're going around, but it's still top-down grid-based, but you have to use the triggers to turn. And it's the worst thing ever when you're trying to make really quick jumps that you have to do a bunch of quick turns for. Like, they're ridiculous because you have to memorize each thing. Like, how many times do I push the button this time? Boom, bam, 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 bam. Instead of just using the joystick to, like, instantly go a direction, hit A, instantly go a direction, hit A. Like, it would just make so much more sense. But no, they didn't do that. Hitman 2016. A lot of people say this was the best Hitman of the time, or at the time. And it's just gotten better with Hitman 2 and 3 of this style of Hitman, which is the only one I've played. I thought they were fun, but unfulfilling. House of the Dead 3, light gun game, nothing really to it. You just shoot. So, I don't know, D tier, nothing special. Like, also original Xbox. Ninja Gaiden for Ninja Gaiden for the original Xbox. Super difficult, but also pretty darn fun. You can do some really cool stuff. Oh my gosh, it keeps clicking. I'm gonna go, like, honestly, just on its competence alone and how fun it is, even though I never got past the first boss, B tier. Original Ninja Gaiden, I did get past the first boss in this game. And I actually played Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3. And Ninja Gaiden 2 was actually the easiest. I got the farthest in that one. But I think they would all kind of go into C tier. Like, not super platforming based, but super skill based still. Resident Evil 6, super fun to play as long as you have a co-op person to play it with. Like, it wasn't as good as the other ones, but still, like, it's still a fun game. Resident Evil 6, B tier. Rainbow Six Vegas, ooh. I honestly think that's going to go up to A tier. Same with Vegas 2. Just Terrorist Hunt alone sets this game up. Just right up there to A tier. Love playing that with multiple people. Resident Evil 5, that's also going higher than 6 too. I think that's also... Ooh, if you play it alone, it's like C tier. If you play it with somebody, it's like S tier. I honestly love it a lot. Well, I have to put it in A tier. If I put it in S tier, I've got to move Resident Evil 2 up. So I'll put it in A tier. It's a lot of fun. Resident Evil Revelations. I don't know if you can play this one co-op or not, but you have like a partner sometimes, I think, in this one. But it's a solid entry. It's solid enough. It's like it strips everything down, and so it's not as complicated, not as survival horror. It's more just horror action. So I'll go down B tier with RE6. Shadow Warrior, which is really kind of novel and fun, sword fighting and guns, and you fight demons. Like, it's just like better Doom. B tier, probably. Well, I mean, it would be A tier if the controls were better. Like, because all of the sword combos that you actually used, well, yeah, like any sword combo was always like joystick to the left twice or joystick to the right twice. Boom, 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 boom. And you would have to like go all the way over and back to the middle and all the way over again. to register the 2 clicks, you couldn't just go real quick, or else it just wouldn't register it. And so they were super finicky to be able to do the moves you wanted to do. And they should have had more like up, down, left, right instead of the same direction each time, because that was just stupid. So it would go in A tier if not for that, because you use the sword moves all the time. So it was a very prevalent issue. Time Splitters 2. Level creator, campaign, multiplayer. Oh my gosh. So fun. A tier. Future Perfect. Time Splitters here. Even better level creator. Even better campaign. Even better multiplayer. S tier. Just fantastic. Borderlands 1. Ooh. Borderlands 1. Kind of an odd duck in the Borderlands series. The other ones are all kind of the same game, and Borderlands 1 is slightly different. Less complicated, but more grounded, and kind of was a good start to the series. I think it's a solid B. Borderlands 2, I think Borderlands 2 might be the best, even though there's so many parts that are slogs, but you can kind of skip those. I'll go Borderlands 2 for A, and pre-sequel, and 3 for B tier. Borderlands 3, there's never a shotgun that's any good in the whole game, and I always hated that. I always wanted to use a shotgun, but there's never a good one. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, S tier for me. That's the 3rd game in the Splinter Cell series. It's so fun, but I was able to beat it without shooting a single bullet on the hardest difficulty, which is Expert, not the insane difficulty that goes after, which all that difficulty does is set it back to normal and take away your bullets. But I did that on the hardest difficulty and just didn't shoot any bullets the entire game. Like, I always wondered why Splinter Cell 1 and 2 didn't give you a knife. It made no sense because you had to like hit him. You had to surprise him with like an elbow hit and then hit him again. And like that would like make him woozy, and then you hit him again, then knock him out. But it was like, it would just make sense to have a knife, but you never had one in the first 2 games. But then I realized that it's so overpowered, and you just like run right up to somebody and just stab them, and you're just boom, you're done. And so it really kind of overpowered the game quite a bit. But they also kind of did the same thing with they made the non-lethal ones as well the same, where it's a one-hit combat move. Super cool animations for those, because it was unique based on if you're on the stairs, how far away you were, what direction you were coming from, and it was like there was several different ways from each of those ways, that each of those directions that you would do those like knockouts or kills or whatever. So like absolutely fantastic game, but just too easy. First one was too hard. Second one was just right. Third one too easy. But all good games. Halo 1. Ooh. That's gotta be S+ tier. Can't go wrong with Halo 1. Multiplayer, campaign. Oh, there's Splinter Cell Conviction, which was the 5th game in the series. Where would that go? A tier. A tier probably. The 1v1 game mode was great. You would play and there'd be like other enemies, and you would get points for killing those enemies and lose points for dying, but then you could get points for killing the other player. And so that was a great thing. And then the campaign was also pretty good too, but A tier material. Animal Crossing New Horizons sucks butt. It sucks butt. All Animal Crossing games suck butt. They're all pointless. They're worse. They're like Stardew Valley, except poop on it. And it's that. They're so stupid. I did separate out Kirby's Dream Land. I don't really know why. They're kind of all the same. D tier games. I think I remember liking one of them more than the others, but honestly, they kind of blend together. I played them all around the same time. So, yeah. Sonic Heroes, C tier. Not great game, but I remember enjoying it a lot as a kid. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Honestly, B tier. The multiplayer combat. The 1v1 lightsaber duels were so cool. Like, you're force moving things around, you pick each other up, you throw each other, and you use like all of these different like lightsaber abilities and stuff. Like, it was a lot of fun. And then the story mode was honestly competent. And the last battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin was great. Like, it's one of the best, if not the best, movie tie-in game of all time. Sadly, it's still only B tier for me, but like you could make a argument for A tier, but I would put it in B tier. TMNT, this is the I didn't really know what it was called, but it was one of the side-scroller beat 'em up TMNT games. I just include all of those, all the side-scroller beat 'em up TMNT from like Nintendo or NES and SNES like era. I kind of put all in there, and they were fun. They were fun enough. B tier. And then Turtles in Time was also, that's the one I remembered the name of. I also put that in B tier. Tetris Worlds. Tetris came with Star Wars The Clone Wars. It came in the same thing. I don't remember if it had 2 discs or if you flipped the disc over or if it was on the same menu, or I don't remember how it worked, but it was cool to have another thing in there. It was like story mode Tetris, but I suck at Tetris and it's never all that fun. D tier. Star Wars The Clone Wars, like vehicle Star Wars. You're 99% in a vehicle. When you get out of the vehicle, it's super cool, but it's always for super short sections. When you're like Mace Windu with a lightsaber or something. But for the most time, you're in some kind of vehicle of some sort shooting. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty fun for the most part. C tier. Sonic Battle. It was a Sonic top-down isometric beat-em-up for the Game Boy Advance. C tier. It was a lot of fun. I played that a lot. I was like, who made this game? It's great. All right, Kirby's Block Ball. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, this was it was like Breakout, but Kirby. But it was honestly like pretty fun as Breakout games go. D tier? I guess I'd put it in the same realm as the other Kirby's. Original Splinter Cell. I'm going to go, I'm conflicted. Because it is so cheap in a lot of ways that really bogs it down. But, like, for the most part, like, it's really good. That CIA level kills me, the second to last level, with the keypads and the heat sensor stuff. Like, there's got some bad parts that bog it down. But is it, I don't know. I'll put it in A tier. Above certain other ones. But B tier has honestly got some really good games in it. So you shouldn't sleep on B tier. There's some good stuff in there. Honestly, there's some good stuff in C tier as well, but it's just the overall game. All right, almost done. Mario Kart Double Dash. Everyone should know where this is going. S+ tier. Absolutely fantastic. Best Mario Kart game ever. Batman Arkham Asylum. B tier. Beat 'em up game. Not really all that complicated. Neo. Honestly, really fun until I realized it was a Souls-like and absolutely started killing me. And I really don't like Souls-like, so super fun for the first like level or 2 or whatever. And then it gets way too difficult, and I think it's cheap. So, C tier, sadly. Super fun. Way more fun than Dark Souls, which actually, I didn't even put Dark Souls on here, but I have played Dark Souls for like quite a bit, and I forgot about them. But Dark Souls would be C tier as well. So, there you go. Shiv 2, B tier. It's kind of fun. It's like, just charge at each other and just like swing your swords and shoot bows and arrows and stuff. It can get pretty fun with like, I don't know, 30 people on either side fighting. But yeah. The Drone Racing League. This game is so difficult. I decided not to do the tutorial, like, or easy mechanics, easy controls or whatever, where they, it literally, you control each and every direction with the toggles and buttons and stuff like that. And so it's like you're trying to control this actual drone based on every little thing in a video game. And you're trying to go super fast. It's so complicated and so hard. I ended up like I couldn't like make a turn through a checkpoint and like get through the next area. I had to like limp my way to each checkpoint and then flip over. And then you flip yourself back over and then you make it to the next checkpoint and you're upside down and you flip back over. It was stupid fun though. D tier. I don't know. Arkham City. It's B tier. Fun game. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing too special. Dauntless. I remember really liking this game far more than Monster Hunter, but it's like way simplified Monster Hunter, so it's way more accessible. But then it's like a live service game, which isn't. It ended up not being all that fun once you like have done most of the things. So I can't go any better than B tier for me. But the more you play it, the more you're gonna hate it. Original Doom, D tier, not good. Doom 64, not good. Just the level mechanics and everything like that. It's so bad. It's not ingenious. It's not good level design. Like great technology for the time. Like the developers were smart people, but it's bad level design, and it's bad like just gameplay. It's not fun. So, and that's coming from somebody who likes these older games. These might be, well, Doom, the original Doom, might be a little bit older than what I generally play. What was that, 93, 94, something like that? The original Doom came out, and Doom 64 plays exactly like that one, basically. So, just not great. Evoland is a weird game I had never heard of, but I played it, and it's like top-down Zelda. Some of it's 3D, some of it's pixelated. It kind of does this weird, like, fourth wall break every 2 seconds. And it's got some cool puzzles and cool different things, but for the most part, it's pretty underwhelming. D tier for that one. Enter the Gungeon, super fun. Like, I love the rolling and the guns and the co-op nature of the game. I'm sad that you have to use the little dart gun guy as your second player every time, which is the stupidest design decision I've ever heard of. Super difficult, but super fun as well. So it's like I can understand if you're able to play the whole game and actually put the time into it, A tier. But if not, if you're able to get through most of the game, B tier. But if not, then C tier, and which is where I land. Fez, really wanted to like Fez. I really wanted to like Fez, but it's too weirdly open-ended and hard to get back to different areas and convoluted when it doesn't need to be, just to navigate the world, like in the map screen, not just playing the game, which playing the game is pretty fun, but just because of that, down to C tier. Limbo is actually a platformer game that I love. A tier. Love like the emotional kind of weird story it's got going on. The ending's great, and just like the weird puzzles and the weird atmosphere of it is pretty sweet. The original Fallout got pretty far into this game, and the mechanics are super old and dated, but they stand up pretty darn well in the face of a lot of things. B tier for me. Psychonauts, the original Psychonauts. It's a 3D platformer, but with a lot more. It's good writing, it's a great story, great powers, better than any Mario game. I'm tempted to put this in A tier because I really did enjoy this game. I'm gonna go A tier. Bloons Tower Defense 6 and 5. They're both solid B tier games. Pow, both of them. I played this one in college, and I play this one now a little bit every once in a while. But they're basically the same game. Bloons TD6 just has more of it and just more things. Armored Core 2, which is the only one in the series I've played. Fantastic. It's so fun. It's just like a third-person action game of Front Mission. Did I even have Front Mission in here? Yes, I do. Okay, there it is. I was like, I haven't seen that one yet. Republic Commando. It's going all the way up here to S tier. Stands the test of time. It truly does. People say it doesn't, but those people don't realize what good game design is. So there's a couple hiccups. It's not a perfect game, but it's so fun. Front Mission. and you guys know where I'm going to put this. S+ tier. Pow. One of my favorite games of all time. Just absolutely fantastic. It's those top-down isometric games, but you can edit every one of your mechs with weapons and parts and items and things and whatever, and then you have your tactical gameplay and everything like that. So it's the best like top-down grid-based tactical game ever made. You have long range, you have short range. I'm actually like working on a board game it's inspired by Front Mission, really, and that it's so good. A Super Nintendo game. I played as a ROM, but fantastic. The original Fable. Honestly, love this game. Beat it many times. Love it. The last chapters was a great addition to it. It's a little bit of a slog in a lot of parts, but and the last boss is underwhelming based on how cool the dragon looks, but great game. I am sad about Fable 2, though. Everybody says it's the pinnacle of the series. It is not. It is B tier of the series. I tried playing Fable 3 a little bit, but I didn't play it enough to want to rate it because I didn't really play it all that much because I didn't think it was fun. So I stopped playing it. Fable 2 has a terrible story, and they stripped out so many mechanics and made them like upgrades, even though they were like base things in the original game, and made it way dumbed down. And like I didn't like that. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like, let's see. It's a solid game. It really is. It's got dated controls, but they're not bad dated controls. Like they operate just fine. I wish there was a more consistent way to like turn your character. It's hard to. Well, I am playing it on PC as a ROM, so there's something to be said for that. But like I'm playing it with a controller, and like when you try to turn just a little bit, it'll just go boom, 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 boom. And when I'm just trying to get it to turn a little bit, and I'm like, you could just turn a little bit. You don't need to do that. A tier for the clunkiness part of it. Everything else is just phenomenal about it. S tier game with B tier controls. System Shock 2, another one of those older style. I mean, it's an immersive sim, but it's one of like the first immersive sims. So not as in-depth as the original Deus Ex. It's like it could potentially be S tier level, but I think I'm gonna have to bring it down to regular A tier. After the amazing reveal of the main like bad guy AI, which I don't even remember her name off the top of my head. Like that's like the coolest scene like ever. It's so good, and the game is so good up to that point, and then it like really loses all steam after that, and so it's really hard to like keep in it for the very underwhelming story after that point. Fall Guys is on here too. It's fun. It's fun. C tier. You run around. It's a good party game. Not something you want to play for very long. Dark Deity. It's another Fire Emblem ripoff. It's really just it's Fire Emblem, but not as good. It's like Binding Blade, except but it's the opposite problem. Instead of not giving you very much, it gives you way too many characters and way too much equipment. But I don't think equipment breaks in that game. So it's like a B tier game. So like super fun. Like I still enjoy it, but there's a lot of things that bog it down, and just like the overabundance of characters. Like every level you get like 2 characters added to your party, and you can't use them all because why would you want to? Oh man, I'm burping out all over the place. Why would you want to use that many characters? Because I've got like 35, and I don't even know how far I'm in the game. Like not even that far, I don't think. But yeah, it's kind of a lot. Super Mario Party. This should have a number on there. Oh no, that's the Switch one. Super Mario Party. Super Mario Party is great. It dumbs down everything though. So B tier. It's made for little children, which is fine, but I would have liked more things. It does have a lot of other mini games that are pretty good, and like the river rafting thing, which is good, and some other modes. But like the traditional boards are not good. And those three are ones I've already rated. I don't know how there were multiple of those. But that's cool. So there you go. There is my tier list for every game that I have ever played, minus a few that I forgot and was remembering in this list, like Dark Souls, which is C tier, by the way. And Sekiro. I played Sekiro too, dude. I forgot about that game. High C tier, low B tier. It's more fun than Dark Souls. I go B tier. Same problems though. I don't really like those games. Yeah. All right. Hope you enjoyed those. And have a great day. I could have been in presentation mode this whole time. What was I doing? Wait a minute, those weren't copies. Well, Super Robot Wars D was. But I think that other one was the Mario mix. The Dance Dance Revolution Mario mix. I put in A tier. You know what? Actually, that one goes in B tier. And the original Dance Dance Revolution Ultra mix goes in A tier. First to Fight is not Final Fight. I don't know how I read those as the same game. First to Fight is something you can play with up to 4 players local on one original Xbox. Super tactical. It was originally made as a training program for like Marines. Super fun tactical shooter, like especially if you have 4 people. It's fine with 1 or 2, but 4 people playing that game is so fun. One last thing, I forgot that Halo 3 wasn't actually on the list. I don't know how. I put Halo 3 ODST and forgot to put actual Halo 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these Super Robot Wars D icons here to actually rate Halo 3, which for me, Halo 3 is an A tier game. So fantastic game, nowhere near as good as Halo 1 and 2. So this Super Robot Wars D right here, this is Halo 3. Just remember that.